2014, a total of 62 Holcim Awards prizes were presented at ceremonies in 5 regions of the world. The winners of gold, silver or bronze awards in each region, a total of 15 projects, automatically qualified for the Global Holcim Awards 2015. Here are the finalists in alphabetical order, with the global prize winners named last. Saline Ionica is located on the Mediterranean coast, at the toe of the Italian boot. 2 decommissioned factories degrade this place. Anthropic Park is designed to reinstate the natural balance of the disturbed land. The project aims primarily to support the healing power of wilderness zones by creating wetlands on part of the site and letting nature take its course. The master plan includes a tree nursery, a museum and research center, offices for start-up companies, and other interventions.
My project is sustainable because it listens to the nature.
The Costa Rican NGO Fundecor, which is dedicated to sustainable rainforest management, has plans to build a new headquarters. The center is situated within the rainforest. Raised on wooden stilts, it hovers above the gently rolling green terrain. The square wooden building with its 4 wings encloses an atrium in which a grove of trees has been conserved as a built symbol of forest protection. The roof sections slope inward to the atrium. The rooms are arranged along the outer perimeter.
I think the most peculiar probably aspect of the sustainable construction is to think about a site-specific approach, to understand really the culture which you are involved, the economy of the resources, and working with a really innovative connection with landscape and the environment.
A real estate entrepreneur in Mexico aims to create a new school that recognizes the needs of underprivileged children. Coco Cali adopts a holistic education concept. The round classrooms are formed by a serpentine masonry wall that winds through the site. The sequence of rooms reflects the school career. Each year, the students advance along the pearl necklace of classrooms. The rooms for the youngest students face the protected courtyard. Those for the older students look toward the outside world.
I think the most outstanding characteristic of our project, Coco Cali, is that first, it's about education. Second, it's about building with the people in the community. It's a project that you don't need an architect to get it done.
An orphanage, including a library for the neighboring communities, is being built in Kathmandu. The 21-meter-high building is earthquake-resistant and provides horizontal and vertical areas for the cultivation of fruit and vegetables. Methane and fertilizer produced on site in a biogas plant additionally make the orphanage highly sustainable and self-sufficient. The training program equips adults to treat the orphans in a caring and encouraging way.
The thing that really makes this the most sustainable would be actually the children, the people that we're trying to impact in this project. I say that because I feel that children can be almost an exponential growth for sustainability.
A playful approach was devised for the redevelopment of a brownfield site in southwest Vienna. The master plan takes inspiration from a board game in which a schematically displayed landscape is to be settled following clearly defined rules. The concept is based on a continuous grid of gardens, upon which the various occupants place their structures, from single-family houses to multi-family apartment buildings. Most of the leftover garden areas become public space.
We approach the matter of sustainability with the concept of porosity. It is for us very important that the neighborhood is porous in all senses, socially and ecologically. So it has to become permeable to a broad diversity of actors, of inhabitants, and also be porous towards the natures.
One of Turkey's largest formal industrial zones lies in Ankara. Here a new competence center is to be created for the Renewable Energy and Environmental Technologies cluster. The holistic concept responds to the challenging slope topography. Workshops, warehouses and test labs are housed within a hillside terraced wing. The green roofs add natural insulation and can be used for outdoor experiments and as recreation areas for the building occupants.
The most significant characteristic of our project is, I think, the balance between the natural and the human-made. And our project is located in the middle of the industrial area and is the only green space in the whole area. So our main idea was to keep the hill as it is and try to find a balance in between the natural one and the man-made.
Public green spaces in Beirut are rare. The city's pine forest was reopened in 1990 following the Civil War, but was closed only a few weeks later because the park lacked sufficient infrastructure to accommodate the massive crowds. This project proposes a series of effective interventions to make the park an attractive place for every segment of the public. An innovative financing model using public funds and private contributions is designed to ensure long-term operation.
The most outstanding feature of this project will be the sensitive integration of the existing state of the forest into the user-friendly urban park.
Hi-Fi, a tripartite ensemble of round towers over 12 meters tall, was built on the museum plaza of the MoMA PS1 Art Institute in New York. Each of the 10,000 bricks was a naturally grown product consisting of hacked corn stalks and mushroom mycelium. Making these stable building blocks requires no energy and produces no waste or byproducts. After 3 months of cultural events, the structure was disassembled and the bricks decomposed by crushing and mixing them with compost material.
The most important sustainable aspect of our project is the creation of a new type of brick with almost no waste, almost no energy, and almost no carbon emissions. And this type of brick can be composted and returned to soil at the end of its life.
A modular prototype for low-cost houses to foster development of poor neighborhoods was designed and built in Addis Ababa, the Sustainable Incremental Construction Unit. This 2-story structure is simple yet refined. The footings and piers made of concrete support a frame of prefabricated eucalypt wood with metal elements. The house can be erected by the owner in 9 days and can be easily enhanced over time as funds become available.
We try to be treated and to act not as an architect, and to work with the people, to listen to them, to look to their capacity, to get their advice, cultural meaning, ideas, how they want to live in the future, and then just to propose something where we think what they can do by their own.
Las Vegas is a city in the desert, yet it is subject to repeated flooding because the bone-dry earth cannot absorb stormwater. This problem has been addressed by a plan that is carefully adapted to the complex urban context. Giant underground tanks that can be used as event locations during dry periods swallow the rainwater. They are covered with a porous concrete surface designed for optimal water collection.
The most sustainable characteristic of our project is repositioning the civic value of water in the city of Las Vegas.
The police in Thailand confiscate illegally traded birds as evidence, but most of the birds die because they cannot be properly cared for. In the Chiang Mai province, these endangered birds are now receiving a new shelter. At a hotel adjacent to a natural paradise, a reserve is being created that serves both birds and people alike. The complex includes a bird clinic, a library, an auditorium, and more.
The most sustainable characteristic of our project, I think, is an approaching of a design that let the bird as our customer. And when we try not to make architecture for human as a priority, but to create the sanctuary for a living creature, separating the human from the bird.
With its new recreation and restaurant building, the Paris-Saclay campus on the city's fringe is receiving a center that is intended to be open round the clock, with as few restrictions as possible. The building is designed as a compact box without an identifiable front or back. This urban shelf stacks a variety of flexible use spaces connected by a central staircase, in a design in which the inside and outside intertwine.
The most sustainable aspect of our project, I think, is the fact that it's a minimum structure that is flexible, but requires at the same time as little material and technology as possible.
The 8-person Global Holcim Awards jury 2015 chose 3 projects as the winners of the 4th International Holcim Awards competition. These winners share the prize money of $350,000 US. Superstorm Sandy caused enormous damage to New York in 2012. The federal government put up $50 billion in emergency relief funds, $5 billion of which was earmarked for preventive measures. The project The Dry Line was developed for Manhattan. Based on topography, the waterfront was divided into resiliency districts, which autonomously provide protection like float chambers in a ship's hull. This also allowed development of the project through a participatory process. In over 20 workshops, residents had the chance to say what they missed most in their neighborhoods. A basic idea of the project is that of social infrastructure. The flood protection system should also provide additional benefits. A 12-kilometer-long bicycle path is now being created along the shoreline. Concrete elements form a high water barrier, while doubling, depending on the form, as park benches, planters, seating at playing fields, bicycle shelters, or skateboard ramps. Embankments provide additional green areas and dampen traffic noise. Areas beneath elevated roadways are being built out with pavilions for public use. In an emergency, the shutters can be closed and the structures serve as a floodwater barrier.
The Big U, I believe, is a piece of infrastructure that is to be resilient and to protect Manhattan from future floods. And at the same time, it's allowing for a social aspect, a social solution. So in essence, a social infrastructure that will protect for generations to come.
Civil war raged in Sri Lanka for over a quarter century until 2009. The reintegration of young soldiers is one of the great challenges the country still faces. The commanding officers of the Sinja regiment in Ambepussa decided to build a large library on their base. It is intended to support soldier education and also be open to the local civilians and cost as little as possible. The floors of the library are made of reclaimed wooden railroad ties. The walls are made of rammed earth with a moderate dosage of cement, and the roof framing uses salvaged steel girders from demolished factories. The building is narrow and elongated, which allows cross-ventilation and simplified construction by using repeated standardized segments. The soldiers learned how to make the simple yet robust elements step by step, and they erected the building themselves. Once they are discharged from the army, they will be able to build their own houses using the same system and make use of their skills in the job market.
I think what makes my project sustainable is partly it deals with the ecological issues in a particular way, in the way the materials are used, in the way the building deals with the landscape and so on. But at the same time, it deals with people in a particular way because we are building the structures using unskilled workers. And one of the things that we are interested in is to see how real building projects can transfer knowledge and build skills of the community.
The government of Medellín, the second largest city in Colombia, takes advantage of every opportunity to improve the lives of its citizens. One such opportunity is the UVA Orfilinato drinking water reservoir, located on a hillside overlooking the city. The two giant basins of the reservoir were replaced by new ones. Demolishing the old tanks would have been too expensive and a waste of resources. This project provides a roof over much of the site, creating two usable areas. Large openings in the roof conduct light to the lower level and allow for vertical circulation. The upper level will be planted and turned into a park. One of the old basins will be transformed into an open-air auditorium with amphitheatre seating. The other will be filled with water and turned into an aquatic garden featuring water plants. In the back part of the lower level will be rooms for public uses. To hold down the costs of building this socio-technical landscape, commonly available resources are being used. Recycled materials, local construction methods, and workers from the neighborhood.
Our project is sustainable because it builds a bridge between the need of the people and their city.
The Holcim Foundation congratulates all the finalists and the winners of the Global Holcim Awards 2015 on their outstanding projects, including the project at the heart of today's winner ceremony.